Hello there, and thank you for joining us on this full ship tour of the Carnival Mardi Gras. Now, on this tour, we're going to go ahead and start down on deck 4, but we're going to give you some facts here ahead of time. This ship is 180 plus thousand tons, and it can hold up to 6,500 passengers maximum with all the kids and families on there. This tour is going to have a little ship deck plan in the bottom right corner, and it'll also in the bottom left kind of show you what deck you're on and the region or venue that you're at on that particular deck. So here, starting off on deck 4, this is mostly cabins, but I come down here because it does show this little family harbor area. And this section of deck 4 really is kind of meant as a place for parents and kids to be able to spend some time with each other. There is a lounge down here that they can get food at, and it makes it just a little bit easier for parents with either young kids or that need some quick access from these cabins to be able to stay down here and out of the way of the huge buffet and all the crowds that are up on the other decks. So that is just the only reason I come down here. If you're looking to book a cabin on this deck, so you get an idea beforehand of what is kind of down here on this deck. It also does have a kids area here. The Camp Ocean area is strictly for kids access as well. So after that, we're going to go ahead and head on over to deck 6 here. So we're going to come out at the forward elevators, and we're going to start off down here in the fitness center. The Cloud9 Fitness Center is actually a pretty decent fitness center. It is a lot of cardio equipment. There's a lot of ellipticals, a lot of treadmills. There's plenty of free weights to get a good workout in. There's machines, and they do also here off on the right have a couple of fitness studios that they will hold classes in. You can use it to do yoga. They'll do spinning out of these classes as well. So there's quite a bit here that you can get a workout in, and we didn't really have too much trouble finding a machine that we could use while we were here. They seemed like it had enough for this particular cruise that we were on. Now, as we kind of turn around here and we head back out, we're going to go ahead and go past the spa on the opposite side of the ship from the fitness center. And this is kind of the downstairs hidden entrance to get into the theater. This takes you on a lower level on deck 6 here to the starboard side of the theater, just to give you a different access. We'll go back up and show you the deck 7 access points a little bit later in the video as we work our way up, but just wanted to show you kind of the hidden one here. And there is also a cabin tour of the Mardi Gras, and on this particular cruise we had a spa cabin, so you can go look at that. And then here we are heading into Punchliners. Now, Punchliners is one of the comedy clubs, I'm going to say. They use a different venue that we'll get to later that is up on a different deck that's in the Limelight Lounge that they use for comedy as well. So, but that one's mainly used for comedy. That's its main purpose. And then over across from Punchliners, there is Piano Bar 88. They'll do live piano music in here. It's a full bar. They have different events that go on throughout the afternoon and the evenings here in the piano bar as well. And then after this, we're gonna come a little further aft, and we're gonna head back into the Java Blue Cafe. Java Blue is a drink station. They do have some free stuff, but a lot of the stuff they have in Java Blue you will have to pay for, like the coffees and things like that, if you don't have a drink package. And then we head on off over here into Grand Central. This is where they do a lot of different performances throughout the cruise. They'll have a lot of different shows that they do out here, and it's a complement to the main theater for the shows that they do put on out here. So just to give you a good idea of what it's like, there you go. They have all kinds of different backgrounds that run there as well. So now as we continue kind of heading back here through Grand Central, we'll start heading back and make our way into the bar area back here The Brass Magnolia is one of their nicer martini bars, and they do have this nice little seating area over here on the right where they'll do a lot of live shows throughout the day. They'll have live music in there. And then it heads on back here into one of the main dining rooms. The Flamingo restaurant is going to be one that you're going to be assigned to as one of the main dinings that's included. And there are 3 of these main dining restaurants on the ship. We'll get to the other ones here. There's another one further back on 6 that's kind of a... I guess it's not really 3, it's really kind of 2 floors of the same restaurant. But so as you come out of the Flamingo restaurant here, the Fortune Teller bar is here on the right, and they'll have some kind of different themed drinks that go along with it being the Fortune Teller bar. And it's really in this nice little area, and kind of down that walkway is where a bunch of the shops are on the ship. So sorry I kind of skipped around that, but we're going to go ahead and continue heading aft and give you a little bit better view of some of this stuff here. So Emeril's Bistro is not included. Emeril's Bistro is going to be at a cost. The things that you get there you will have to pay for separately, unfortunately, as you will with the Carnival Kitchen. It is one of their specialty dining venues as well. So I've never been in the Carnival Kitchen. I'm terribly sorry. I don't know exactly what the menu is like and what they do in there. It seems like a fairly small venue. So, and then as we continue heading aft here, you're going to come into the Palm Restaurant, and the Palm Restaurant is kind of a 2-story restaurant here. As you can kind of see, it's going to come up to this little opening here, but it goes between deck 6 and deck 7, and it is one of the included main dining restaurants that you're going to have here on the Mardi Gras. So we're going to go ahead and leave here and head on up to deck 7. Now we're going to go ahead and start at the stairwells here at the back, and we're going to go ahead and head right on over to the right-hand side here in a second, once I figure out which direction I'm going here. And we're going to go through the upper deck of the Palm Restaurant, and just to kind of give you another look at it. They are both the same basic dining venues. Now, if you're doing a dine anytime package, you're going to want to make reservations for these restaurants in the app and check in as soon as you can to try and get in. If you want to eat early, get on there right away and get your reservation and your time slot on that app as quick as you can. Just a little hint for those restaurants. Now we're going to come back here to another one of the specialty dining restaurants. This is Fahrenheit 555 on deck 7 here. This is their really fine steakhouse, and this is $52 a person at the time this video was made. It is specialty dining. It is, from what I understand, pretty good steakhouse. They don't have... I didn't find anybody who didn't like their meal there. Let's put it that way. So, it's very nice, very pretty restaurant. They've done a pretty good job turning this into a really nice specialty restaurant here. So, we're going to go ahead and head on out of Fahrenheit 555 here, and we're going to continue heading back forward here. Now, as we head forward through this area, you're going to end up coming through this lounge, and this lounge area is just kind of extra seating, either waiting to get into Fahrenheit 555 or extra seating for Alchemy Bar, which is what we're going to head on back to here in a minute. But it's nice. It's a really nice little area to just kind of relax and wait. It's got a nice little overlook down into Emeril's Bistro, down in the French Quarter area of the ship. But here, the Alchemy Bar is kind of their really nice high-end mixed drinks bar, and it is right next to the other comedy venue that they do here have on the ship. They will have a lot of the family comedy that goes on here in the Limelight Lounge, They will have some adult shows and they'll warn you ahead of time, but they do put a lot of the family performances for the stand-up comedians here in the Limelight Lounge. And they also do a lot of the game shows and trivia stuff here in the Limelight Lounge as well. So, all right, we're going to go ahead and get on out of here and get out of the cleaning cruise way here, and we'll head on back a little bit further forward on deck 7. So the rest of the deck 7 here is going to head you back into the performance area here. This is where you're going to go into Grand Central again. So this Grand Central area, I don't know how to truly describe it. It's a nice stage show, but it goes all 3 levels. It's deck 6, 7, and 8. If you really want to be up close and personal, you're going to be down on deck 6 in a lot of those red chair areas down there, and they'll even set up chairs that are even a little further forward. Deck 7, there's some stadium seating here as well, but if you want to be really close, you're going to try and get those chairs up front ahead of time, and if you want to do that, make sure you get to that show early. Show up there, grab a seat, and hang out. They tend to fill up pretty quick for a lot of the performances that go on out here in Grand Central. So, and then here off on the left, you're gonna have a little bar and an extra seating area here as well. These are some stairs that go down back to deck 6, and it's also an entrance into the non-smoking side of the casino here on deck 7. So the Grand View Bar is actually very pretty. I do like their background that they have there and their decorations, but the other part here on deck 7 is this is the smoking casino, but we're going to go ahead and zip on through that because the casino was open at the time that I was doing this. So we're going to skip on through and just head on off into the main theater's entrance up on deck 7 here, so that you can get a better idea of what the main theater looks like here as well. So as we get out of here, we're going to head across to the opposite side of deck 7 so that you can see the entrances into the smoking casino here on the starboard side. And then as we go across over here, this is going to be the entrance into the non-smoking side of the casino and the other entrance into the main theater here on deck 7. So now, as we go ahead and head on up to deck 8, we're going to start off at the forward elevators here by the Havana area. So there is an entrance over here off to the Havana side on the starboard side forward of deck 8. Now you're normally supposed to have a key or a key card to be able to get into the Havana area, but I was lucky enough that on embarkation day this was just kind of open, and so we went out here so you get a kind of a look at what the deck space is like out in the Havana area. They do have their own bar out here. They also have their own little plunge pool here out on deck as well that they can go use, just to kind of give you a little idea of what that looks like there. And then the Havana bar itself, this is open to everyone. This is kind of their Latin-inspired bar that they have here. They do have a lot of music that goes on in here. They have karaoke that goes on in here. So it's actually a pretty fun little bar that you can come in and spend time at. It's actually really entertaining. It's a very comfortable little space to where you can just hang out and listen to some live performances if you wish. So just as a kind of as a side note there for anybody interested in this venue. Now we're going to go ahead and head on out the opposite side of the Havana bar, and we're going to go ahead and go on over to the Chibang restaurant. Now, Chibang is sort of included. You get the first one for free if you don't have any package, and then I believe any additional dining is at $8 per person to come in, but you do at least get one for free so you can try out Chibang. It's kind of a fusion Mexican Oriental food restaurant. It's actually pretty good. There's a lot of different venues, a lot of different foods that you'll be able to get there. So It's a pretty extensive menu of different offerings there, but it's good. Just as kind of an alternative if you don't want to go to the buffet or the main dining. You can do that one night and it doesn't actually add anything to your bill. So now we're going to go ahead and head back aft into the Grand Central area again here. And this will give you the view from all the way up on deck 8. I'm actually not a huge fan of the view up on deck 8. I feel like I'm looking straight down on the performers instead of looking at the performances that are going on. So, but everybody's different. It was just my own personal take from coming up here. So they do have this really cool little glass walkway that you can kind of cruise across, but at the time they were mopping, so I was trying to be super careful not walking across their glass there. So that's a set of stairs that goes back down to deck 7 and down into the casino if you want to. There's extra seating areas up here, and then they also have their 2 bonsai restaurants up here. The teppanyaki restaurant is right there, and then bonsai sushi is up here. These are specialty dining. You do have to reserve them, and they do have a cost that is kind of associated with them there. So sorry, not free for sushi, none of that. And then we'll kind of head on out of the sushi restaurants here and head on back aft a little bit further. Now, as you end up heading aft a little bit further, you do get a kind of a little standing view there, but still not all that good. There's a little shop here that you can go to, and then it kind of heads on across to the other side of Grand Central, where I'll take you over and get you a little view of the opposite side here. But it's also part of their Iris Art section is where that starts. The Iris Art and then the ship photos, where the photographers are always trying to take pictures of you, are all kind of in this general area of the ship. So it gives you kind of this related area that you can kind of zip through. And if you're into any of that, there's a lot of the little tablets over there that you can use to access your photos. And then we come to Cucina del Capitano. Please don't yell at me if I completely mispronounce that, but that's as best I can do there. And this is another one of those like Chibang. It's kind of free. You get the first one for free, and then any dining after that is, I still believe it's like $8 a person to come in and do it. This is their Italian food restaurant, and it's actually really good. We ate here and at Chibang for our 1 free ones, and both of them were actually pretty good food, just as alternatives to the main dining and the buffet. So, just to kind of give you an idea of where you're at here. Now, we're going to go ahead and head on out of Cucina del Capitano, and we're going to head on over to the Bar de la Rose. It's just one of their little bars that they have here on deck 8 with some extra seating right there. Now, Bar de la Rose is a full bar, but they do also offer their specialty coffees here at this particular bar. So if you're or have one of the packages that includes the specialty coffees, you can come down here and grab some of those. And then over here past that, you're going to run into the pizzeria. Now this is free. The pizza is included. You don't have to pay for any of that. And then you're going to run over to the Piazza Panini area here. It's a bunch of different sandwiches. Some of them are warmed. They will kind of custom do them for you. It kind of takes a couple minutes to get your sandwich in most cases. We'll just have a seat and they'll call you when they're ready. But it is free and it is all included. Now, we're going to come here to Rudy's Sea Grill. Now, this is not included. Rudy's Sea Grill is a specialty seafood-based restaurant. Did not eat here, so I unfortunately do not know how good or bad it is, and I've never found anything from anybody that had eaten there, so I'm sorry I can't tell you how good or bad it is, but I would assume it's halfway decent. If it's one of the specialty restaurants, it's going to be a little bit better than the main dining. Now, as we end up heading out of here, we're going to continue heading back past their Carnival Adventures area. That's for their shore excursions desk. And then we're going to come back here into guest services. So if you do need any help with stuff while you're on the cruise, that's where you're going to end up coming. And then this area beyond that is called Summer Landing. This is where Guy's Pig and Anchor is. They have a bar back here. The Heroes Tribute Lounge is back here. So they'll have a little shop here off on the left where you can buy alcohol and some different products that they have, but it's usually a very big alcohol sales area. Off on the left here is the Heroes Tribute Lounge. They'll have live sports up on that TV. Only one TV was working on this cruise. The other one was damaged, so not really useful. They have self-serve ice cream back here. The soft serve is pretty good. And then they will also have Guy's Pig and Anchor that you can come up to and eat mostly for free. There's a couple of things on the menu that they charge for, but most of the menu in Guy's Pig and Anchor is for free. They do have a full bar back over here. The seating runs all the way around the side back here. In the mornings, they do have a breakfast buffet down here. It's very similar to the buffet that they have up on deck 16 in the main buffet area. They have a couple other little offerings, but it's 80% the same as what you're going to get upstairs. So just so you know that that's down there. And then there's some games over here that you can come over and play. The games, they're free. You don't have to pay for them. And then we're going to go ahead and head outside onto deck 8. So the outside part of deck 8, there is a full pool and deck area back here. And yes, those doors were very slow to open on these ships. A lot of times you had to hit the little button down there just to even get them to open up. So anyway, the pool area out here is actually a pretty nice little pool area. There's not a lot of seating necessarily right around the pool itself, but it does have a lot of seating down the side areas. So you're going to end up walking back along the sides here, and we'll head on back to the port side of deck 8 here and just kind of give you a view of what's around here. The kind of the first thing you come to over here, though, this is an outdoor eating area for Guy's Pig and Anchor. This is where they tend to do their lunch barbecue buffet is out here. You can come out here and you can get lunch barbecue at Guy's Pig and Anchor with a lot of their same meats and offerings that they have that you'll be able to get at dinner, but just kind of buffet style out here on the side. Now we're going to keep heading back, and this is kind of the outdoor seating for Guy's Pig and Anchor here. But as we keep heading back, you're going to come back past a couple of the restaurants here that also have some of their outdoor seating. That blue area there is going to be the outdoor seating area for Rudy's Sea Grill. This is just some extra seating that they can use if they need to for overflow. Then as we come back past this section here, there is some additional kind of really quiet outdoor lounge chair seating along here. It kind of is just this little kind of hidden area with some extra lounge chairs. And it doesn't always get full, and sometimes it can be a little bit windy depending on the day. But then as we come back through here, we're going to end up in the Cucina del Capitano's outdoor seating area that they have for extra seating. If it's really nice and they want to let people sit outside here, we can do that. And then as you continue back past all of this, you're going to end up just in kind of this little open space that has an overlook out to the ocean. And it's just a quiet little area here at the very end of deck 8 here on the port side. So now we're going to go ahead and head back to the pool area and start up on the other side of deck 8. All right, now as we head back on over to the other side of deck 8 down the starboard side, gonna kind of head back past a bunch of these chairs and seating area here that they have. And you're gonna actually come to a couple of little hot tubs that they have over here on deck 8. These are just nice little hot tubs they have to complement the pool area. There's not a ton of seating over here, but it's nice to be able to just come over here and use these hot tubs with a view kind of over here on the starboard side of deck 8. They do also have their own bar out here, so if you like to grab a drink out on the deck here, you don't have to go back into the bar inside to try and go get a drink if you'd like. There's a bunch of additional seating down here on deck 8. There's more lounge chairs here. And then as you continue heading aft, you're going to run into even more lounge chairs. And you're going to also run into a couple of sections here where they do have cornhole that you can come out and play. And it's just kind of a nice little space here. And then there's additional outdoor seating for the pizza and the panini area that they have inside on deck 8, and there is a side access door that lets you come on out here and sit outside if you'd like to. When you grab your pizza, your paninis, you can come out here. And then as you continue heading further back on deck 8, you're going to run into another bar area back here, and this is also a smoking area back here for those that are smokers. You can come out here and they have a whole section set aside out here for you that there's plenty of seating and a bar for you to hang out. So all right, now this kind of runs out to the end of the lower levels here on 6, 7, and 8 with all their public areas, and we're going to go ahead and go on up the aft elevators up to deck 16. Now, deck 16 takes you out the back here to the tides pool. Good morning. It is kind of early when I'm shooting a lot of this stuff, and again, those doors don't always like to cooperate, so and they have their own little pool area back here as well up on deck 16. There is the Tides bar that's over here. They have a soft serve ice cream machine just over here on the right. And then a whole bunch of seating under here for the bar and the pool area as well. So we'll head on out here and I'll give you a little tour in the daytime. I came back out here and got some of this so that it's a little bit more visible. There's a full pool area here with a beautiful view off the back and a couple of large hot tubs up there that you can go hang out in. And there's multiple access ways into the pool, but you can see here what kind of a view you get, especially when you stop in some Mediterranean port like this one. It's absolutely a beautiful view off the back of the ship here. And we'll go ahead and walk around the pool here. There are stairs here that'll go up to deck 17. And you can even go up to deck 18 from this back area here to give you an idea of some of the access ways back here. If you need to get up and down between the decks, you can do it outside without having to go in. And there's your other hot tub that people are hanging out in. And then the one last little area over here with a bunch of lounge chairs and regular chairs that you can come out and hang out in as well up here. So just kind of give you an idea of what this is like. Now, we're going to go ahead and go back to the early morning shooting here, and we're going to go over here to Shaq's Big Chicken. This is kind of their outdoor eating area for the pool area. It's actually a really good chicken, and for those that don't know, you can actually order your chicken to be grilled and not deep fried and breaded. You can get just straight grilled chicken if you want. Just ask them when you order. It's not really something that shows up there, but they do have it. And then they have their own seating and sauces area over there as well. So, and additional drink stations. From here, you're gonna end up going back inside. And this is where the main buffet area starts. So the main buffet is a little bit limited. They call it the Lido Marketplace, but it's their main buffet. There's a whole ton of seating in here and uncooperative doors as well. And I never had a problem finding a place to eat in here. I'll give them that. There's plenty of seating for the buffet. But what you're going to run into here is a couple of these island setups. There's one here, and then there's one on the opposite forward corner that are basically identical in their food service. They're pretty much the same food. 5 or 6 different offerings, plus like a main meat offering with some other stuff, but that's about it. There's not a huge variety there. In here, you're going to get some other offerings like a salad bar. Breakfast, they'll have omelets. Sometimes they'll have some dessert areas. They'll usually have some sort of gelato, things like that. But there's not necessarily a huge variety on these carnival buffets like this. The food's okay, but it's certainly not the best buffet food you'll ever have. So, but they do always have plenty of seating in here. It's easy to get a place to hang out. A lot of people just kind of come out here and hang out. If the weather's bad, they'll hang out in here. But then you'll just grab food as it becomes available. And they open up different sections at different times. So sometimes the forward one will be open quicker than the back one for the buffet areas. So just to kind of help you out. The drink stations do have soda, but you do have to pay for the soda with your card. Everything else on there you can get. They do have a beer dispenser, and they do have coffee and hot chocolate over there. Just so you get an idea of what they've got. But as you kind of head over here, this is where the other island buffet area is, and it's going to be exactly the same as the buffet that you have up on the other section that we already walked through. So just so you know, there's a little section here for like salad dressings. A lot of times they'll have extra silverware at some of those central areas for you to grab if you need to grab some extra silverware. And then this is going to lead us back out forward out to the pool area, the Lido pool area here on deck 16. So we'll kind of zip on out there and through these doors. I'm not going to make you go through the non-cooperative doors here. So we're going to zip on over to where the Red Frog Tiki Bar is. And this is at night, so forgive some of the coloring, but I'll do my best with it here. The Red Frog Tiki Bar is their bar area. It does extend on up to deck 17 as well, but you'll also find some of the best food kind of forward here where you can get burritos and tacos. This is the Blue Iguana Cantina. So up here you can get burritos and tacos. This side here on the left is the burritos. The side over there on the right is the tacos. They will usually have some sort of chicken, fish, pork. A lot of times on the burrito side, they'll have shrimp as well. So if you want to get shrimp on your tacos, they'll do that as well. But you can kind of mix and match whatever meat offering they have there for tacos or burritos. And this is actually some of the best food on the ship. It's really pretty tasty. The fish and the shrimp tacos are also really, really good. They'll have a bar with salsa and fruit and a bunch of other toppings and a drink station back there. Then as you head across to the other side, you're gonna run into these little shacks that they have, I guess is the best way to describe them. The seafood shack is not free. You do have to pay for that, and they do in the morning do like donuts and beignets at a cost. The wings and things is also a fry station. It's time fries. They do charge for the wings and those specialty fries. Now, Steam Dream is free. You do not have to pay for that, and they do have all kinds of different offerings depending on the day of the week. They'll have different stuff there, and then Mad Sizzle is the same way. They have different small bite stuff that you can get that is free as well. So it's just some other food offerings that you can go grab. Now, as we head back up forward here, or I'm sorry, head to the aft back towards the buffet back here. This is actually the towel station. That's where you'll go to get towels. And then here we'll get you a little bit of a view of the pool area here at night, so you get an idea of what that looks like. We'll come back to the other decks when it's a little bit more light outside to give you some better views of this pool deck area here as we head on up to deck 17 here in just a moment. All right, now here on deck 17, we're going to go ahead and start out again at the Red Frog Tiki Bar. And we're going to go ahead and head aft. Now, just aft of the Red Frog Tiki Bar, you'll get a little ice cream machine and a drink station. But that will lead you right back into Guy's Burgers. This is also probably some of the better food you're going to get on the ship. It's not something you could necessarily eat every day. I'm sure people would try. It's just not for me every single day. But the burgers are actually really good. You'll enjoy them. You can get them in lots of different varieties and lots of different ways. They have a toppings bar that you can get out here. You can order them with cheese, without cheese, single patty, double patty. There's a little bit of variety here for what you order. When I came up here early in the morning, they were using the grills for French toast for breakfast. So they obviously use these for lots of different stuff. But then this will give you kind of the way that you can order stuff. So, and it'll give you some instructions on what the abbreviations mean there. But that'll be for you when you get on here to decide. Now we'll head back through these doors here into deck 17. And we'll go across the stair and elevator area to another one of the kids' areas on deck 17 here. This is a complement to the one that's down on deck 4. This is just for different age groups up here. But it is also the entrance into their arcade. The warehouse is their onboard arcade that you can go play around in if you want to kill a little bit of time and don't mind spending a little bit of money on their video games here. It's a fairly decent arcade that they've got. Gives you something fun to go do. So, just to give you an idea, unfortunately I did not get a chance to play in here. I just got a chance to walk around in here and give you a quick view of what was going on. So, now the arcade is obviously placed right because it's right next to the kids area. I'm sure they did that on purpose. And that kids area is for young teens, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids. If you want to go drop them off and give yourself a little bit of free time, they'll give them something to do while they are taking care of them for you. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to head outside onto deck 17. And as we head out onto deck 17, we're going to start off heading around the port side going aft. There are stairs right there that'll get you up to the walking track and the other parts of deck 18. But we'll come back to all that stuff in a little bit. Then there's always someone that's out there to say hi to you while you're walking around. And then as you continue heading aft here, this really is back to just one of the really covered areas that we have here on deck 17. And there's shaded lounge chairs, there's sun lounge chairs back here, but it's just another little area where they have lounge chairs for people to hang out. This ship holds thousands and thousands of people, and they've tried to do a good job here, it looks like, with providing enough deck space and lounge chairs so that people have a place where they can kind of go hang out if they want to out on deck. Now, the other part of deck 17 over here on this side is going to lead you back to one of the other smoking areas on the ship. This section of deck 17 is also a smoking area. So all these tables and all this seating area back here is for those of you that want to come out on deck and smoke. And this continues heading back and around for a little bit here. We'll kind of head across the back of the ship and we will go on over and walk up the other side of deck 17. So just so that you know where we're heading here. It has some stairs there that'll take you up to deck 18 as well, and that runs you back into the mini golf. And then this side of deck 17 is more lounge chairs, but is not a smoking area for those of you that don't necessarily want to be sitting in the smoking area. This is your option over here. And then this leads back over into another one of the, I'm going to call it young adult areas, because I think this is for the 14 to 17 year olds. It's O2. It's their hangout spot if you want to come over here and drop your little bit older kids off over here. They can give them something to do and give you a little bit of time, a little bit of a break from them and some time to yourself. There's extra seating out here as well for guys pig and anchor, which is what we're kind of coming back around to here on the right hand side. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to head back on past guys, and we're going to zip on up to the Red Frog Tiki Bar here, just to kind of keep this going and give you a nice little tour around the pool deck here from deck 17 when the sun is actually out, so you get an idea of what that actually looks like. So I'll go ahead and let you kind of enjoy this little bit here on your own. There's a whole lot of deck space out here. There's plenty of lounge chairs up here on deck 17, and it really does just really wind all the way around up here on deck 17 to give you a really good idea of what this looks like. So I'll just kind of let you take a look around, and then I will come back in just a little bit for this. And when I come back, we'll be heading on up to deck 18 to finish off the last and final deck. All right, now we're going to go ahead and finish up here on deck 18. We're going to go ahead and start at the forward half of deck 18. They are two separate sections to deck 18. And we're going to head back past the lounge chair area and into the Serenity adults only area. This is the little bit nicer, a little bit quieter area than the main pool area section that you can come back to. All the chairs are padded. Back at the elevator area, they usually have a towel dispensing area, so you can go over there and get towels. They have a salad bar out here at lunch, a full bar running most of the time when this is open. They have their own little shaded pool area and a nice sunken seating area for everybody. Just as a side note, if you want chairs that are in the shade or someplace secluded, you will need to get up here very early to grab those, because those tend to disappear pretty quickly. It's not too hard to find a chair in here, but anything that's really shaded and really comfortable that you're going to spend a lot of time in tend to get taken up pretty quickly. So be aware that sometimes up here it can get a little windy one side or the other, so that you just are aware of that. Try the other side. If the one side you first come to is pretty windy, it may calm down on the opposite side depending on where you're at. Now we'll end up kind of cruising through here a little bit so you get an idea of just how extensive the area is. It's actually really nice. They do have two large hot tubs, one on each side as well, that you can go hang out in if you wish. I would have gone up and done the deck 19 area, but I did not have a pass for that. Best I could do was hold up the camera and kind of show you the edges of it. But that's a very secluded, you have to pay to get in there, and the entrance is over on the opposite side of deck 18 by the hot tub area over there. So now we'll kind of head back on out to the non-Serenity deck spaces out here, just to give you a little look at all of the extra lounge seating that they do have here on the Mardi Gras, which it is actually pretty extensive. So now we'll go ahead and we'll start at the very back of deck 18 in the mini golf area, just to give you a quick little turnaround. of what it's like out here. And then we'll move on down and kind of show you the deck spaces. Now the water area there is a great big water slide area for pretty much all ages, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's really an age limit, but it's usually mostly kids playing around in there. And then you come back here to the Bolt roller coaster. I believe it's $15 a person. I did not actually go on it, but that's what the cost was when I checked. And then they just have some little shaded outdoor loungers here that head you back forward to the sports court that they have here. They're fully enclosed sports court, and then they also have the ropes course that runs around this area as well. So they'll have basketball going in here most of the time. Sometimes they'll have like tennis or pickleball going as well in there. And they do have outdoor pool and foosball and some other games as well. They do have cornhole on this side as well. And then as you walk around behind the screen here, you'll also run into the entrance for the ropes course up here. And there's some rules and restrictions about size and things like that and age, so just be aware of that. A couple other game tables over here, and then this side will run you back down the port side underneath the last view of the ropes course. And then as we head on back here a little bit further, it's actually going to take us back underneath the starting section for the Bolt coaster. So now you're going to get up here, and that actually is the area where the coasters do kind of launch from. They do kind of have a little bit of an accelerated launch. So it does look kind of fun, but it's just not something I was willing to go pay for fun. And now that we're actually coming here to the very end of our tour here on deck 18, I'm going to go ahead and give you an idea of exactly what the Bolt coaster will look like in action. All right. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe.